Here's a powerful asterisk Gaur Gopal Das style hook, intro and 7 key points for the speech asterisk. The morning mindset of a successful woman. Let me ask all the wonderful women here a simple question. What is the first thing you do when you wake up in the morning? Do you immediately check your phone? Do you start worrying about problems? Do you begin thinking about everything that went wrong yesterday? Or do you prepare your mind for success? You see, my dear friends, success does not begin when you reach your office. Success does not begin when you earn money. Success does not begin when people start applauding you. Success begins in the first few moments after you wake up, because the way you start your morning often determines the way you live your day. A successful woman understands something that many people ignore. Before she manages her work, she manages her mind. Before she handles responsibilities, she handles her thoughts. Before she faces the world, she prepares herself internally. The truth is, every morning is a new opportunity, a new chance to grow, a new chance to improve, a new chance to become stronger, wiser and happier. The women who achieve extraordinary things are not always the smartest. They are not always the luckiest. They are often the women who have learned how to win the battle inside their minds before stepping into the world. Today, I want to share 7 powerful morning mindset habits that successful women practice every day. These habits can transform not only your mornings, but your entire life. 1. She starts the day with gratitude. Successful woman does not begin her day by focusing on what is missing. She begins by appreciating what she already has. Gratitude creates positivity and emotional strength too. She chooses positive thoughts over negative thoughts. She understands that her mind is like a garden. If she plants positive thoughts, positive actions will follow. 3. She focuses on progress, not perfection. She does not waste energy trying to be perfect. She focuses on becoming better than she was yesterday at 4. She takes responsibility for her life. Instead of blaming circumstances, she focuses on what she can control and improve. 5. She protects her peace. She does not allow unnecessary negativity, drama, or distractions to control her day. 6. She believes in her worth. She does not wait for others to validate her value. She knows her confidence comes from within. 7. She sets an intention for the day before the world demands her attention. She decides how she wants to show up, serve, grow, and succeed. My dear friends, every successful woman you admire has challenges. She faces struggles. She experiences setbacks. She feels fear. She has moments of doubt. But what makes her different is not the absence of problems. It is the strength of her mindset. Remember this: a successful morning creates a successful day. A successful day creates a successful week. A successful week creates a successful year. And a successful year creates a successful life. So tomorrow morning, before you touch your phone, before you worry about your problems, before you allow the world to enter your mind, ask yourself, what kind of woman do I want to become today? Because success begins long before the world sees it. It begins with the mindset you choose every morning. Thank you. One of the most powerful habits a successful woman develops is starting her day with gratitude. Before she thinks about deadlines, responsibilities, challenges, or goals, she takes a moment to appreciate what she already has. This simple practice may seem small, but it has the power to completely transform the way she experiences life. Gratitude is not just a pleasant feeling. It is a mindset that shapes how a person sees the world, responds to challenges, and approaches each new day. Many people wake up and immediately focus on what is missing. They think about the problems they are facing, the goals they have not achieved, the money they wish they had, or the things that are not going according to plan. Before they even get out of bed, their minds become filled with stress, comparison, and dissatisfaction. As a result, they begin the day feeling overwhelmed. A successful woman understands that the first thoughts of the morning are important because they set the emotional tone for the rest of the day. She knows that if she begins the morning focusing on lack, she will carry that feeling throughout the day. But if she begins with gratitude, she creates a foundation of positivity, strength, and peace. Think about the gift of waking up each morning. It is something many people take for granted because it happens so regularly. Yet every new day is an opportunity. It is another chance to learn, grow, improve, love, serve, and pursue meaningful goals. The simple fact that you have another day is something worth appreciating. A grateful woman recognizes this. Instead of rushing immediately into worries about the future, she pauses to acknowledge the blessings that already exist in her life. These blessings do not need to be extraordinary. Sometimes they are found in the simplest things: the ability to breathe, the ability to walk, the ability to learn, the support of family, the presence of friends, a roof over her head, food on her table, the opportunity to pursue her dreams. These things may seem ordinary, but they are valuable gifts that many people overlooked. One reason gratitude is so powerful is because it changes your focus. The human mind naturally pays attention to problems. This tendency helped our ancestors survive because it encouraged them to notice dangers in their environment. However, in modern life, this habit can cause people to focus excessively on what is wrong while ignoring what is right. Gratitude creates balance. It does not deny difficulties. It does not pretend problems do not exist. Instead, it reminds us that challenges are only one part of the picture. There are blessings too. There are opportunities too. There are reasons to be hopeful too. A successful woman understands this balance. She may have challenges, but she refuses to let those challenges become the only thing she sees. Another reason gratitude matters is because it protects against comparison. In today's world, people constantly compare themselves with others. They compare appearances, achievements, careers, relationships, lifestyles, and possessions. Social media often amplifies this habit by showing carefully selected highlights of other people's lives. When comparison becomes a daily habit, happiness becomes difficult to maintain. No matter how much a person achieves, there will always be someone who appears to have more. A grateful woman breaks free from this trap. Instead of constantly looking at what others have, She appreciates what she has. Instead of measuring her life against someone else's journey, she values her own path. This shift creates contentment. And contentment creates emotional freedom. Gratitude also strengthens resilience during difficult times. Life is not always easy. Every woman experiences moments of disappointment, uncertainty, and hardship. There are days when things do not go according to plan. There are seasons when challenges seem overwhelming. During these moments, gratitude becomes especially important. It acts like an anchor. It reminds her that even in difficult circumstances, not everything is lost. There is still something to appreciate. There is still something worth valuing. There is still something worth fighting for. This perspective does not eliminate pain, but it prevents pain from becoming the entire story. Many successful women have faced tremendous adversity, yet they often speak about the importance of gratitude because it helped them maintain hope when circumstances were difficult. Another beautiful aspect of gratitude is that it improves relationships. People naturally enjoy being around those who appreciate them. A grateful woman recognizes the contributions of others. She notices kindness. She values support. She expresses appreciation. These simple actions strengthen connections. They build trust. They deepen relationships. Everyone wants to feel valued. When gratitude becomes part of your daily life, you begin noticing opportunities to express appreciation more often. This creates a positive cycle. People feel appreciated. Relationships become stronger. Life becomes richer. Gratitude also influences the way a woman views herself. Many people spend years focusing on their weaknesses, mistakes, and imperfections. They become their own harshest critics. While self-improvement is important, constant self-criticism can be exhausting. A grateful woman acknowledges her growth. She appreciates how far she has come. She recognizes the lessons she has learned. She celebrates progress instead of focusing only on what remains unfinished. This creates healthier self-confidence, not arrogance, not complacency, simply a recognition that growth is happening and that every step forward matters. Another reason successful women begin the day with gratitude is because gratitude creates abundance in the mind. When people constantly focus on what they lack, they develop a scarcity mindset. They begin believing there is never enough time, never enough opportunity, never enough success, never enough happiness. Gratitude shifts attention toward abundance. It reminds them of the resources they already possess, their skills, their experiences, their relationships, their opportunities, their strengths. This perspective creates optimism and motivation. Instead of feeling deprived, they feel empowered. Instead of feeling defeated, they feel capable. The beauty of gratitude is that it does not require perfect circumstances. Some people mistakenly believe they will become grateful once life improves. They think gratitude is a result of success. In reality, gratitude often comes before success. It is a choice, a daily decision to focus on blessings rather than limitations, a decision to appreciate rather than complain, a decision to see opportunities rather than obstacles. This choice has a profound effect on the quality of life. Every morning presents a new opportunity to make that choice. When a successful woman opens her eyes in the morning, she understands that she can begin the day with stress or appreciation, with complaints or gratitude, with fear or hope. She chooses gratitude because she knows it shapes everything that follows. It influences her attitude. It influences her decisions. It influences her relationships. It influences her resilience. It influences her happiness. Most importantly, it reminds her that life is a gift. Not because every day is perfect, not because every challenge disappears, but because every day offers another chance to grow, love, learn, and make a difference. That is why she begins with gratitude, because gratitude turns ordinary mornings into meaningful beginnings, and meaningful beginnings often lead to extraordinary lives. One of the most important decisions a successful woman makes every morning is choosing positive thoughts over negative thoughts. This does not mean she ignores reality, pretends problems do not exist, or lives in a fantasy world where everything is perfect. It simply means she understands the incredible power of her thoughts and refuses to allow negativity to control her day before it even begins. The human mind is like a garden. Every day, seeds are planted through thoughts, experiences, conversations, and emotions. If negative thoughts are allowed to grow unchecked, they can quickly take over. Just as weeds can spread throughout a garden, negative thinking can spread throughout a person's life. It can affect confidence, relationships, productivity, happiness, and even physical health. A successful woman understands that she cannot always control what happens around her, but she can influence what happens within her mind. Many people wake up and immediately begin worrying. Before their feet touch the floor, their minds are already focused on problems. They think about unfinished tasks, financial concerns, difficult conversations, past mistakes, or fears about the future. These thoughts create stress before the day has even started. The challenge with negative thinking is that it often feels natural. The mind is designed to notice potential problems because it wants to protect us. However, when this tendency becomes excessive, it creates unnecessary anxiety and emotional exhaustion. A successful woman recognizes this pattern. She knows that if she allows negative thoughts to dominate her morning, they can influence everything else that happens throughout the day. Imagine putting on a pair of dark glasses. Everything you see will appear darker. The world itself has not changed, but your perception has changed. Thoughts work in a similar way. When your mind is filled with negativity, you begin interpreting situations through a negative lens. Small setbacks seem larger. Minor inconveniences feel overwhelming. Ordinary challenges appear impossible. On the other hand, when your mind is filled with positive and constructive thoughts, you begin seeing possibilities where others see obstacles. The circumstances may be identical. The difference is perspective. This is why successful women pay attention to their mental environment. They understand that the quality of their thoughts influences the quality of their actions. Positive thinking is not about repeating empty phrases or pretending everything is wonderful. It is about choosing thoughts that support growth rather than thoughts that create limitations. For example, instead of thinking, "I can't handle this," a successful woman may think, "This is difficult, but I will find a way forward." Instead of saying, "I always fail," she may say, "I can learn from this experience." Instead of focusing on what could go wrong, she focuses on what can be done. Notice the difference. The challenge remains. The difficulty remains. But the mindset changes. And when the mindset changes, possibilities begin to appear. Another reason positive thinking is so important is because thoughts influence emotions. Every emotion begins with a thought. If you repeatedly think about fear, your anxiety increases. If you repeatedly think about disappointment, your motivation decreases. If you repeatedly think about failure, your confidence suffers. The opposite is also true. When you think about opportunities, gratitude, growth, and possibility, your emotional state improves. This emotional shift affects how you interact with the world. You become more patient, more confident, more resilient, more optimistic. These qualities often lead to better decisions and better outcomes. A successful woman understands that protecting her mind is just as important as protecting her physical health. Most people would not knowingly consume food that harms their body every day. Yet, many consume negative thoughts constantly without realizing the damage they cause. They replay past mistakes. They criticize themselves relentlessly. They focus on everything they lack. They compare themselves to others. Over time, this mental habit becomes exhausting. A successful woman chooses a different path. She becomes aware of the thoughts she entertains. She notices when negativity begins taking control. And she consciously redirects her attention toward thoughts that strengthen rather than weaken her. This awareness does not happen automatically. It requires practice. The mind naturally follows familiar patterns. If negative thinking has become a habit, changing it may feel uncomfortable at first. But every habit begins with repetition. Just as muscles grow stronger through consistent exercise, positive thinking grows stronger through consistent practice. Each morning becomes an opportunity to strengthen that habit. Another benefit of positive thinking is that it improves resilience. Life will always contain challenges. No one is immune to setbacks, disappointments, or difficult seasons. The difference is how those situations are interpreted. Two people can face the same obstacle and have completely different experiences. One person sees the obstacle as proof that they should quit. The other sees it as an opportunity to learn. One person sees failure as the end. The other sees failure as feedback. One person sees problems everywhere. The other sees possibilities. Their circumstances may be identical, but their thoughts create different realities. This is why mindset matters so much. A successful woman understands that challenges are part of life. She does not expect every day to be easy. She does not demand perfection from herself or from the world around her. Instead, she develops the habit of responding constructively. She asks herself empowering questions. What can I learn? How can I grow? What action can I take? These questions shift attention away from helplessness and toward progress. Positive thinking also affects the people around you. Energy is contagious. The way you think influences the way you speak, act, and interact with others. A woman who begins her day with positivity often spreads encouragement to those around her. Her attitude creates a ripple effect. She becomes a source of strength rather than negativity, a source of hope rather than fear, a source of solutions rather than complaints. This influence extends beyond herself. It affects families, workplaces, friendships, and communities. Another important truth is that positive thinking creates confidence. Confidence is not believing that everything will always work perfectly. Confidence is believing that you can handle whatever happens. A successful woman develops this belief through the thoughts she chooses daily. She reminds herself of past victories. She remembers challenges she has overcome. She focuses on her strengths while continuing to improve her weaknesses. This balanced perspective creates inner stability. The world around her may be uncertain. Circumstances may change. Problems may appear. But her mindset remains strong. Every morning presents a choice. A person can focus on fears or possibilities, limitations or opportunities, complaints or gratitude, defeat or growth. The choice may seem small, but over time it shapes an entire life. Because thoughts become actions, actions become habits, habits become character, and character influences destiny. That is why a successful woman chooses positive thoughts over negative thoughts. Not because life is always easy, not because she never experiences fear, not because challenges disappear, but because she understands that her thoughts are powerful. She knows that every day begins in the mind. And when the mind is filled with hope, possibility, courage, and positivity, it becomes much easier to create a life filled with purpose, success, and fulfillment. The world may not always give her perfect circumstances, but every morning she still has the power to choose her mindset, and that choice can change everything. One of the most empowering mindsets a successful woman develops is the ability to focus on progress rather than perfection. This simple shift changes the way she approaches challenges, goals, mistakes, and even herself. Many people spend years chasing perfection, believing that they must get everything right before they can feel proud, confident, or successful. They place enormous pressure on themselves to perform flawlessly. They fear mistakes, avoid risks, and become discouraged whenever things do not go exactly as planned. A successful woman understands something different. She understands that perfection is an impossible standard, but progress is always available. She knows that growth is not about becoming perfect. It is about becoming better than she was yesterday. Many people delay their dreams because they are waiting for perfection. They want the perfect plan, the perfect opportunity, the perfect timing, or the perfect level of confidence before they begin. As a result, they remain stuck. They spend more time preparing than actually moving forward. The problem with perfection is that it often disguises itself as productivity. It convinces people that they are being responsible when in reality they are avoiding action. A successful woman recognizes this trap. She knows that imperfect action will always create more growth than perfect intentions. She understands that success is not built by people who never make mistakes. It is built by people who continue moving forward despite mistakes. Think about a child learning to ride a bicycle. The child does not become an expert on the first attempt. There are wobbles, falls, and moments of frustration. Yet every attempt teaches something valuable. Balance improves. Confidence grows. Skills develop. Imagine if the child refused to ride until they could do it perfectly. They would never learn. Life works the same way. Every skill, achievement, and success story begins with imperfection. Every expert was once a beginner. Every confident person was once uncertain. Every successful woman was once inexperienced. Progress made them successful, not perfection. One reason perfection can be so damaging is because it creates fear. When people believe they must perform flawlessly, they become afraid of making mistakes. They worry about criticism. They fear judgment. They become overly concerned about what others might think. This fear often leads to hesitation, and hesitation often leads to missed opportunities. A successful woman understands that mistakes are not evidence of failure. They are evidence of effort. If you are trying something new, mistakes are inevitable. If you are growing, mistakes are inevitable. If you are pursuing meaningful goals, mistakes are inevitable. Instead of fearing mistakes, she learns from them. Instead of allowing them to stop her, she uses them to improve. This mindset creates freedom. Freedom to try, freedom to learn, freedom to grow, freedom to become better over time. Another challenge with perfectionism is that it can make accomplishments feel meaningless. No matter how much progress a person makes, they continue focusing on what is missing. They complete one goal and immediately criticize themselves for not doing more. They achieve success but only notice imperfections. They compare themselves to unrealistic standards and feel dissatisfied. This creates a cycle of constant frustration. A successful woman chooses a healthier approach. She acknowledges progress. She celebrates growth. She recognizes small victories. This does not mean she becomes complacent or stops striving for excellence. It means she understands the importance of appreciating how far she has come while continuing to move forward. Think about climbing a mountain. If you constantly focus only on the summit, you may become discouraged by how far you still have to go. But if you occasionally look back, you can see how much ground you have already covered. That perspective creates motivation. It reminds you that progress is happening, even when the journey feels difficult. The same principle applies to life. Sometimes growth is slow. Sometimes improvement is gradual. Sometimes results take longer than expected. But small steps repeated consistently create remarkable outcomes over time. A successful woman trusts this process. She understands that meaningful achievements rarely happen overnight. Strong relationships take time. Successful careers take time. Personal growth takes time. Confidence takes time. Everything valuable develops through consistent progress. This understanding helps her remain patient. Patience is a powerful quality because many people quit too soon. They expect immediate results and become discouraged when progress appears slow. A successful woman realizes that success is often invisible before it becomes visible. The roots of a tree grow beneath the surface long before anyone sees the branches. Similarly, personal growth often happens quietly. Skills improve gradually. Knowledge accumulates slowly. Confidence develops steadily. The process may not always be exciting, but it is effective. Another reason focusing on progress matters is because it builds resilience. Perfectionists often see setbacks as proof that they are failing. A single mistake can feel devastating because it conflicts with their unrealistic expectations. A progress-focused woman sees setbacks differently. She views them as part of the journey. She understands that temporary obstacles do not determine the final outcome. This perspective allows her to recover more quickly. Instead of becoming trapped by disappointment, she continues moving forward. Instead of dwelling on mistakes, she learns from them. Instead of quitting, she adjusts her approach. That resilience becomes one of her greatest strengths. Progress also encourages self-compassion. Many women place tremendous pressure on themselves. They feel responsible for meeting countless expectations. They want to succeed professionally, support their families, maintain relationships, achieve personal goals, and handle every challenge perfectly. This pressure can become overwhelming. A successful woman recognizes that she is human. She understands that there will be difficult days. There will be moments of uncertainty. There will be imperfections. Instead of punishing herself for these realities, she responds with understanding and determination. She focuses on improvement rather than self-criticism. This approach creates emotional strength. It allows her to keep growing without becoming discouraged. One of the most beautiful aspects of focusing on progress is that it keeps a person moving. Perfection often creates paralysis. Progress creates momentum. Momentum is powerful because every step forward makes the next step easier. Every improvement builds confidence. Every success creates motivation. Every lesson learned strengthens future performance. The journey becomes less about reaching perfection and more about continuous growth. A successful woman embraces this journey. She understands that life is not a competition to become flawless. It is an opportunity to become better. Better today than yesterday. Better tomorrow than today. That mindset transforms everything. It reduces fear. It increases confidence. It encourages action. It supports resilience. Most importantly, it creates sustainable growth. At the end of the day, perfection is an illusion. No one achieves it. No one maintains it. No one needs it. What truly matters is progress. Progress means learning. Progress means growing. Progress means continuing despite challenges. Progress means becoming the best version of yourself, one step at a time. That is why a successful woman focuses on progress, not perfection. Because she knows that greatness is not built through flawless performance. It is built through consistent improvement, day after day, choice after choice, step after step. And those small steps, taken consistently over time, have the power to create an extraordinary life. One of the most powerful shifts a woman can make in her life is taking full responsibility for her life. A successful woman understands that responsibility is not a burden. It is a source of power. The moment she stops blaming circumstances, other people, bad luck, or past experiences for everything that happens in her life, she begins to reclaim control over her future. She realizes that while she cannot control every situation, she can always control her response to it. Many people spend years waiting for someone else to change their life. They wait for opportunities to appear. They wait for perfect circumstances. They wait for others to support them, encourage them, or rescue them. As long as they believe their happiness and success depend entirely on external factors, they remain powerless. A successful woman chooses a different path. She understands that the greatest power she possesses is the ability to take ownership of her choices, actions, and mindset. This does not mean life has always been fair to her. It does not mean she has never faced difficulties. It does not mean she has never experienced disappointment, heartbreak, rejection, or setbacks. In fact, many successful women have faced extraordinary challenges. The difference is that they refuse to allow those challenges to define their future. They acknowledge reality, but they do not surrender their power to it. One of the reasons responsibility is so important is because blame feels comfortable. Blaming circumstances can provide temporary relief. If everything is someone else's fault, then there is no pressure to change. There is no need to grow. There is no need to examine habits, choices, or behaviors. But while blame may feel comfortable, it creates stagnation. Responsibility creates progress. Imagine two women facing the same challenge. The first woman spends all her time explaining why she cannot move forward. She blames her past. She blames difficult circumstances. She blames people who fail to support her. Every conversation focuses on what went wrong. The second woman faces the same challenge, but asks a different question. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" she asks, "What can I do now?" That single question changes everything. The first question creates helplessness. The second question creates action. And action is where transformation begins. A successful woman understands that she cannot change the past. No amount of wishing, regretting, or complaining can rewrite yesterday. What happened has happened. However, she also understands that she has influence over what happens next. She can choose how she responds. She can choose what lessons to learn. She can choose the direction she wants to move. This mindset gives her strength because it shifts her attention away from things she cannot control and toward things she can. Many people waste enormous amounts of energy worrying about things beyond their influence. They worry about other people's opinions. They worry about situations they cannot change. They worry about events they cannot predict. A successful woman recognizes that this energy is precious. Instead of investing it in frustration, she invests it in growth. She focuses on her actions, her attitude, her effort, her decisions. These are areas where real change is possible. Another reason responsibility is so empowering is because it builds confidence. Confidence is not created by avoiding challenges. It is created by facing them. Every time a woman takes responsibility for her life, she proves something important to herself. She proves that she is capable. She proves that she can adapt. She proves that she can overcome difficulties. These experiences gradually strengthen her belief in herself. Over time, she begins trusting her ability to handle whatever life brings. That trust becomes one of her greatest assets. Think about a captain steering a ship across the ocean. The captain cannot control the weather. Storms may appear unexpectedly. Strong winds may change direction. Waves may become rough. Yet despite these challenges, the captain still has responsibility for steering the ship. Life works in a similar way. There will always be circumstances beyond your control. Unexpected problems will arise. Plans will change. Disappointments will happen. But you still have the ability to choose your direction. A successful woman focuses on steering her ship rather than complaining about the weather. This mindset